ஆமா 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 போட்டு அதுல அட்டாச் போட்டு அதுல வந்து நம்ம
So every month, India has to set up 6 universities and 270 colleges, which means the country has to invest anywhere between 50,000 crore to 1 lakh crore for setting up, and additional 50,000 crore to 1 lakh crore rupees for operationalization every month. So if you look at the existing system, so most of these institutions which are already set up are struggling to sustain themselves. So this calls for an alternate way of looking at alternate solution for addressing this educational divide. So the government of India looked at Swayam Prabha, NPTEL, Gyan, and NDLI as the supplementary and complementary learning resource materials, so that people who have access to digital devices with the internet connection, they can access these knowledge resources. Just a moment. So is Mr. Rajesh Mautkar, kindly take off your video, please. Is he showing his video? I have been requesting, kindly do not start your video. This is really not good practice. Kindly do not start your video. Okay. So also, if you look at the physical libraries, they are good, they are great, they have been in existence for time immemorial. but they have some limitations. Say for example, in the physical library you have limitations in terms of holding the resources. So beyond a limit, say for example, even the biggest library can host few lakh resources. So beyond that, they also find it difficult to like store stack resources, and they would need additional physical infrastructure to host the physical resources. So that is one aspect. And the second aspect is, so during this time of lockdown, these resources are closed down. So though the resources are there, people are not able to access the physical library. So that is second reason. And the third reason is like, even if you have even if the library is open, even if you access in you have limitation in terms of accessing the same resource. Suppose in a library they may have some 5 copies of a same book or a 10 copies of the same book, but if 100 people want to access the same book, then there is a scarcity of resources. Then people would go for photocopying of the resources, or taking photographs on their mobile phone. So these things happen. And also, like, even if you have the resources in the library, then what happens is like people may hide it somewhere so that you don't have to, you others cannot read. So that kind of people are also there in the library. And the next scenario is like, you have the resources at the library and you can read it, but the only thing is like, people might have torn off some specific chapter, or they might have underlined it with pencil or pen. So these challenges are existing in the physical libraries. But whereas in digital libraries, you can access n number of resources, same resources, uh, by same by n number of users. Say for example, one say Kandian piece article could be read by few lakh people at the same time. So that is possible at digital library. Similarly, one person can access hundreds of resources at the same time. So that is also possible in digital library. Whereas these are all limitations in the uh, physical libraries. So now, so NDLI was started as a pilot project in 2016, and it was developed as a national asset and dedicated to the nation on 19 June 2018 by the then MHRD minister. Now let's look at what do we have at NDLI. So at NDLI, we primarily store or ingest only the metadata. We don't store any full text in our platform. Okay, so this is primarily for not infringing the copyright violations. Okay, so the meaning of metadata is, basically metadata is nothing but data about data. In crude way, if we have to put it, it's basically the information about the resource. Say for example, if there is a book, the title of the book, who is the author, who is the publisher, and who is the uh, so other information like number of pages, what are the subject domains. See, my another request to you, all of you, is if there is only very important communication that you want to make, kindly put it in the chat. Otherwise, kindly refrain, because I keep getting notifications saying that chat message has come, but when I open it, sometimes it becomes uh, some irrelevant or unnecessary information. So kindly wait for like till the time I finish my presentation. My humble request to all of you. So basically, metadata is nothing but basic information about a resource. So as I was mentioning, uh, at NDLI we don't store any full text. Then you may ask, like, how do we give access to the resources, the full text resources? Full text means the entire book or the entire article or entire video, entire audio. So that is called full text. So I will give you with an example. Say, for example, we go to, say, Anna University. Okay. And if Anna University says we have 1,000 non-copyrighted open source resources, which they want to share it with every Indian citizen. So what we do is we ask them whether do they have an IDR, institutional digital repository. If they have, very good. If they don't have, then we help them in setting up a IDR for them. So with that idea, we also put some basic metadata schema as per our requirement, and then we ingest that metadata into our database. Okay, so So uh, our metadata schema is a combination of few things. I can share you the metadata schema that we are using. So you can go to our project website. There you can see search for NDLI metadata. So you can see the metadata schema of NDLI separately. And so as I requested, kindly wait for the session to get over for asking questions, or you type your message and keep it ready so that whenever the session starts, Q&A session starts, that time you can ask your questions. Uh, so IDR, and then we just pull the metadata and then store it in our repository. So suppose if a researcher comes and search for an article on, say, artificial intelligence, and suppose if the resource is coming from, say, Anna University, then what we do is we show the metadata to the researcher, and the metadata, once researcher sees, yes, this metadata which is this is relevant for me and I want to fetch the entire full text, then we redirect him to the IDR hosted by Anna University, and then the IDR verifies whether it is from an authentic source by NDLI user. Then they give access to the full text. So this is how the use model works like. And the next thing is like what type of content we store at NDLI. So we store three types of not we in the sense like our partner institutions, they have around three format of NDLI full text or NDLI content. One is bond digital object. Say for example, a ebook which was typed in Word and then converted into a PDF, and they put it on the uh, World Wide Web or put it on their server. That is called bond digital content. And the second one is digital surrogate of a physical object. Say for example, there is a manuscript which was some 100 years old, and that might have been like scanned and then put it in the digital format. So that is called digital surrogate of a physical object. And the third one is only the metadata. We only have the metadata, we don't have the full text or the scanned copy. So these are the three types of content that we have at NDLA. And as I mentioned, we don't store any content, any full text we don't store. We only ingest the metadata for search and browse, and the content, the full text is delivered from the our content partner. So as I was mentioning, so we have closer to 278 such content collaborators. So we actually act as a content integrating platform. So you can see some of the important or major content contributors to NDLI. And here I also have a request to you. If you think any institution or any organization or publisher who is interested in sharing their metadata or becoming a content contributor or want to share the non-copyrighted open resources, they can send a email to me separately. I will share my email ID and phone number at the end of the presentation. So kindly wait for that. And what type of content we have at the NDLI? This is as per the DDC classification. DDC stands for duodecimal classification. And say for example, computer science, information and general works, we have closer to 99 lakh resources, followed by philosophy and psychology 6 lakh resources, religion 2 lakh resources, social sciences 45 lakh lakhs, language 1 lakh, natural sciences and mathematics 83 lakhs, technology 1 crore, the arts, fine and decorative arts 4.5 lakhs, literature and rhetoric 7.8 lakhs, history and geography 6.1 lakhs. So this is the kind of content we have, and in total we have as of today we have 4.8 crore resources. And these are some of the major content contributors. So World eBook Library, from whom the government of India has procured national license on behalf of the Indian citizens. So they have contributed the highest resources with 77 lakh resources, and you can see the remaining top 20 contributors here. And what type of content we have at NDLI? So we have a range of contents, starting from an ebook, article, lecture slides, video lectures, audio lectures, term papers, assignments, data sets, manuscripts, thesis, dissertations, law acts. So we have a range of contents which are relevant for educational and research purposes. and the article dominates the major type of resource with 2.97 crore resources, followed by books which are 64 lakh resources, reports 12 lakhs, notes 11 lakhs, law acts 8.7 lakhs, law judgments 8.7 lakhs, technical reports 7.13 lakhs, thesis 6.4 lakhs, historical records 5.3 lakhs, video lectures 3.62 lakhs. So this is the kind of resources we have. And access options. So below every search on the right side top, you can see below every search topic or search item, you will see three icons. The first icon denotes the access option. So the access option is nothing but whether this resource is a full text resource or a limited or subscribed or restricted access resource. So there are 5 access options that are available at NDLI. The first one is open resource. So that is denoted by a green lock with open symbol. And the second one is NDL users, which is denoted by a man with NDLI written on it. And the next resource type access option is limited access, wherein only part of the text is visible. And the subscribed is, for example, if your institution has subscribed, for example, IEEE or Springer, then you can access these resources from NDLI itself. It will just validate your IP, and if it's coming from the already bound IP address, then they will allow you access. And the fifth access option is restricted. This is limited only for their campus only. So these are the 5 access options that are available at NDLI. And the second icon, this denotes the language, and the third icon denotes the type of content. So access right-ways content, as I mentioned, open resources are 2.74 crore resources, followed by subscribed, which are 95 lakh resources. NDLI has 77 lakh resources. So if you add these up, you will have 3.61 crore resources that are full text resources. That means 75% of our resources are full text resources. And who is this for? So NDLI is meant for all age groups, starting from the school going students to college going youths, professionals who are into work, academicians or researchers, entrepreneurs, and lifelong learners. So it is meant for all age group without any gender bias. We have content for every age group. Now let us look at how to access NDLI. So accessing NDLI is very simple. So what you need to do is just go to Google or any other browser, say Mozilla Firefox or Safari or even your mobile browser. Go there and then type National Digital Library of India. Okay, and the first URL you will get is called ndl.iitkgp.ac.in. So this is the official URL, and we have one more official URL which is ndl.gov.in. So both the URLs work. So whichever URL you are comfortable with, just click on this URL. Once you click, it will take you to our homepage. So this is how our current homepage looks like. So with a pop-up window. So this pop-up window has been created especially by our team during this time of lockdown to make the learning, the resources more accessible. So I will talk about this pop-up in a very short while. So now let's look at how do we search in NDLI. So the keyword, so we have a search box. So what you need to, for searching or using NDLI, you need to remember 2 important things. The first important thing is you need to enter right search keyword without any spelling mistake. Okay, so if you make any spelling mistake, then the results may differ. So if here I have typed, this is the search box, I have typed history of English literature and then clicked on search. And then here I applied filters. So on the left hand side, we have some 11 filters, and also right hand side, we have one more filter. So in total, we have around 12 filters. So here I applied a filter called subject category. So under this, I clicked language and literature subject category. I got 6.74 lakh resources on the topic of history of English literature. And the next topic I searched was on modern India. So here I wanted only full text resources under the subject category of history and geography. So what I did was I applied a filter called access restriction where I wanted only full text. So I clicked on NDLI and open resources. And then subject category, I clicked on history and geography. So I got 20,000 resources on the topic of modern India. And the next topic I searched was on Indian constitutional law. Okay, so I got 31 lakh resources on the topic of an Indian constitutional law, and then you can narrow down your bid by subject category or educational level. So you can further narrow down the results using the appropriate filters. And the next topic I searched was on 1984, which is one of the world's topmost top 10 novels in the world. So I clicked under literature and rhetoric from World eBook Library. So there is another filter called source. So I clicked World eBook Library, and I got 1984 in two languages. So this is Hungarian and this is English. So you can download English language version of this file and then use it. And then I searched for a topic called sociology, and here I went, and the right hand side there is a filter called content type, and under this I clicked a type called video. Okay, so I got 455 video lectures on the topic of sociology. And the next topic I searched was on microeconomics. So I applied, I wanted resources only from Asim Premji Foundation and MIT OpenCourseWare. So I clicked both of them, and I got 251 results. And the next topic I searched was on human physiology. Again, I clicked only video lectures. I got 12,000 video lectures on the topic of human physiology. And the next topic I searched was on engineering mechanics. So the why I'm showing all these is like I'm just going to give you a flavor of what are the types of subject category of contents that are available. So here I clicked, I wanted resources only from an author called Sudarshan Iyengar. So I clicked on author and then clicked on Sudarshan Iyengar. I got 862 video lectures. And then I clicked artificial intelligence. So here I wanted resources only from my MIT OpenCourseWare under the subject category of computer science and technology. I got 64 results. Next topic was on pedagogy of science. Here I wanted resources only from TeacherTube. TeacherTube is a channel which is primarily a tool for teachers or teacher training students to use for their own for teaching in the classrooms. And next topic I searched was on rural marketing. So here I clicked open and NDLI resources, that is full text, and then subject category technology. I got 1,38,000 results on the topic of rural marketing. So as I was mentioning to you earlier, so during for this lockdown period, our team actually classified the resources into various educational levels and educational disciplines. So we say, for example, so how to access it. So on the top we have something, an icon called Corona Outbreak Study from Home. So you have to just click on this icon, and then this pop-up window will appear. So when you log in, by default this pop-up window will appear. So suppose if you have closed and if you want to reopen, just click on this. So here you can see school, engineering, science, other disciplines, language, management, and law. So suppose if you want resources for UG science, just click here. It will open UG science related resources. Suppose if you want resources only for schools, you can just click here, click on the school. Suppose, and also our team has actually pulled together uh, already existing resources on COVID-19 research resources. So this is a repository created by our team that is available for public access. Now let us look at how to download or view the content from NDLI. So here now I searched for a topic called research methodology, and I wanted source only from Lovely Professional University. Okay, so what I did was, and then what I did was, suppose if I want to open the first topic, so I have to just click here. Once I click, so this page, so this is called, there are two tabs on the top, one is content, another one is metadata. So first you have to click on the metadata. So metadata, as I mentioned, it's the basic information about the resource: the title, where is the source, content type, publisher, file format, language, subject domain, subject keyword, educational role, learning resource type, and publisher type. So this is the basic information. So, and then once once you see this is useful for you, then what you can do is check whether this is a full text resource or a restricted resource. Suppose if it's a open or NDLI resource, then you can proceed towards downloading these resources. Okay, and then you need to check whether you have logged in or not. Since I have logged in here, then you can just click on this content. Once you click on this content, then the entire resources will get downloaded into your laptop or desktop or mobile phone, depending on the device which you are using. Suppose if you have not logged in, so you can check here. I have not logged in, so I clicked on the resource. It will take me to this page. It will take me to this page where it will ask me to log in to view this content. So you just have to click on this login to view content. Then this pop-up window will appear. Okay, so suppose you are already registered, and if you know your password, just enter your email ID, password, and then this captcha, and then click on login. Okay, then you will be able to download the resources. Suppose you remember your email ID, you registered, but you remember your email ID, but you forgot your password, then you can go for account recovery option. So just click on the account recovery option. This pop-up window will appear. There you need to enter your email ID, the registered email ID, and then submit. Suppose this email ID matches in our database, then we will send you a password reset email. Using that, you can reset your password and start accessing it. Uh, suppose if you have never registered at NDLI, okay, then what you can do is, there is an option called register. There is an icon called register. You just have to click that icon. Then this registration form will open. So it will ask for your full name, email ID, preferably your personal email ID, password, and confirm password. These are the 4 mandatory details that you need to enter. Rest of the details are optionals, which you can enter even after registration. Once you fill the details, then you have to submit, sign up, click on sign up. Then you will get the verification email from NDL support. Just click on the verification email, then your account will be verified. Then you come back here and enter your, please don't start your video and be presentable in the video. Yeah. Just enter your after activation, just enter your email ID and password, enter the captcha and login. So this is how you have to access the resources at NDLI. Suppose if it's a video lecture, this is how the video will be playing within the NDLI frame. So as I mentioned earlier, for using NDLI, you need to remember two important things. One is the search keyword with right spelling, the correct keyword with correct spelling. That is one important thing you need to remember. And the second important thing you need to remember is the various filter options that you can use for narrow downing your results. So here I'm going to talk about some of the important filter options. The first important filter that you may want to use is access restriction. Suppose if you want to access only the full text resources, just click on open and NDLI. Then it will fetch you only the full text resources. Second filter we have is on author. So suppose if you're given a search term called biophysics, then suppose if you want, then it will show you what are the authors, the resources are available. Just click on this author, then you will get the resources only from that author. And the third filter you may want to know is called subject category. This is, as I mentioned, depending on the search keyword, you can choose the subject category. Okay. And the fourth keyword is file format. A filter option is file format. Suppose if you want only PDF files, just click on PDF. Suppose if you want only MP3 files, click on MP3. MP4 files for video. So depending on which file format you want, you can choose the file format. So this is the fourth filter. And the fifth filter is language. Fifth filter is language. So we have uh, around 300 languages, both Indian as well as international languages. And you can choose the language of your choice. Suppose if you search for a story in Hindi, so just type that keyword and then go to language and choose the language in Hindi. Okay. And the sixth filter, important filter, is learning resource type. Suppose if you want a case study, just click on case study. Suppose if you want an audiobook, just click on audiobook. Okay. So likewise, there is a thesis learning resource type. So you need to explore the various. We have around 60 resource types, learning resource types under this category. And the seventh filter is source. So this I mentioned earlier. We have 278 content collaborators. So you can check which source you want the content from. Suppose if you want thesis, go here and type InflibNet Shodh Ganga. Then you will get resources from InflibNet Shodh Ganga. Just you have to click on that checkbox. And the eighth important filter is content type. This filter is available in the desktop application only on the right hand side. Okay. So suppose if you want only video lectures, just click on video. You will get only the video lectures. Okay. So these are the two important things that you need to remember while using NDLI. So this interface, entire interface can be accessed. NDLI interface can be accessed in various Indian languages also. You can access the interface in Hindi, Bangla, Gujarati, Marathi, Kannada, Oriya, and Tamil. And now we have it in Malayalam and Telugu also, I remember. And for ease of use, our team has also created NDLI mobile app in both Android as well as in iOS. Okay. So suppose if you want to download and install NDLI mobile app, go to Play Store or iStore, just type in the search box National Digital Library of India. And you most likely this will be the first URL, first icon. So this is the icon of NDL. So this National Digital Library of India, this is the icon of NDLI, and you have to check the publisher. It's coming from National Digital Library of India. Then you click on install. So once you install, you will be able to, you can open the app, and I will show you how to use the NDLI Android app. So this is how the NDLI Android app looks like. So this is the home page. So subject domain, learning resource type, featured resources. So you can, this is how the Android app looks like. And suppose if you want to search, then what you need to do is, on the top you have this search icon. So you just click on the search icon, then this search box will appear. So in the desktop application, this search box is static. It will be there always. But in the mobile app, you have to click on this icon, then only this search box will appear. Here I searched for a topic called Uttar Pradesh. Okay. And then click on, type Uttar Pradesh from the keypad, and then click search in the keypad. Then all the results. So there are 41,573 results available on this topic. Okay. Now if you want to further narrow down or filter these results, so in the desktop application, you have the filter options on the left hand side and also on the right hand side. But in this mobile app, the filter option is available on the bottom right corner. This orange color icon, this is the filter icon in the mobile app. So you click on the filter icon, and on the third screen you can see all the filters will appear on the top. The source, content type, access restriction, learning resource type, and educational level. So all the filters which we saw on the desktop will appear on the top. So you can actually scroll down this section to narrow down your filter. So here I applied a filter called source and Aligarh Muslim University, which means I want the content only from Aligarh Muslim University, and then apply. I got 199 results on the topic of Uttar Pradesh. Okay. So this is how we have to use NDLI mobile app. Now, before moving to the next part of the presentation, I'm going to give you a small activity. So now it's 12:15. So I'm going to give you a 5-minute activity. The activity is very simple. What you need to do is there are two parts to the activity. First part is all of you have to download NDLI mobile app in your mobile phone. It's either from Google Play Store or from iStore. Go to Play Store or iStore and then type a National Digital Library of India and download the entire mobile app, install it in your mobile phone. So that is the first task that you are going to do. And the second task, suppose if you have already registered the app, okay, or if you have just started using it, open the mobile app and then search for the topic which is of interest or subject of study. Suppose if you have if you are say for example if you are teaching computer science, go and search for Java programming or C programming or electronics or artificial intelligence. Search for the topic of your interest or your subject of teaching or subject of study, okay, and then let me know whether this resource which you searched is useful or not. So you do this activity and then give me the feedback in the chat window, whether you have downloaded the app. If yes, just put downloaded the app and you searched on this topic. Say for example you searched on artificial intelligence, then say searched on the topic of artificial intelligence. So kindly put this on the chat window. So now it's now the time is 12:17 in my system. I'm going to give you 5 minutes. So 12:22 we will resume the presentation. So till the 5 minutes you do the activity, and then after the activity kindly put it in the chat window. So Sindhuja M has already downloaded the app. Thank you, Sindhuja. Now I want you to search for the topic in your the app and then give me the feedback. So your 5-minute time starts now. And also I have one more request. For next 2 minutes, kindly turn on your video so that I can take some screenshot of the participants for reporting purposes only. Okay, just turn on your video for next 2 minutes only. So I've taken the screenshots. Thank you for the cooperation. Kindly turn off your video. Now I can see people have downloaded. It's not open, sir. Let me just check what is the problem. If at all there is some problem. The app is working. I could open. I can show you if you want. I just opened the app. I wanted NPTEL videos. I can see searched on public administration Geeta P. Selco. Okay. Article has been searched. Downloaded the info. Which topic you searched, Vidyashri? So kindly request you to turn off your video. Kindly don't share your screen. My humble request to everyone, because there is huge security risk. Kindly turn off your video, please. I've been requesting not to share your screen, please. So Satyendra Aditya has downloaded the app and done registration also. Thank you. So for iPhone, it's showing no results. Go to iStore and search. It must be available. So Vidyashri searched on the topic of GST. Okay, thank you, Vidyashri. Kavita, whether you searched on the topic? So Gayatri Devi searched on privacy preservation topic. So Mr. Ramasamy searched on the topic of SPSS. Please let me to research articles. Research articles, you just go to the search box, search the topic, and then go to learning resource type and choose articles. You will get articles on this topic. Somebody, Venkateshwaran Armugam, searched on the topic of research methodology. Santana Krishnan searched on computer algorithm. Eknath searched on computer programming. Motivation, downloaded motivation. I'm searching. Kindly don't start your video, please. Gayatri Devi, kindly do not start your video. It's a RFID libraries network and filtered by author. Okay. Dr. Pushpanjali Patel, very good work. Searched on zoological gardens, Arvind Bazare. Sorry, that was Dr. Parimala B. Kindly do not share your screen. Selected articles and searched on scientometric analysis and got number of results. Okay, good. Sangaralingam R, K Sandhya, Matrix. Okay. And then Ravi Yadav searched on education for digital libraries, library management perspective. Okay, good. So I think you've just started to do the search on the topic. That's good. Now I want you to take two. Have been requesting not to share because we don't know who is going to share and what they are going to share. So be patient and please listen to what the person is saying. Please, my humble request to you: kindly do not share your screen. Kindly do not turn on your video from now on. My humble request to all of you. Okay. So, Ms. Sharmila Ashraf, so kindly ping me separately. I will help you out. Okay. So, thank you. So now I'm going to talk to you two important things. So we are 100 people in this webinar, and what I'm going to request to you is, after this webinar is over, I will give you 1 hour of time. 1 hour of time. Kindly share the NDLI mobile app with all your friends and relatives. Okay, and even if you send it to 100 people, it's going to be a huge service to the nation. So this will actually spread uh, the knowledge across the nation. So kindly do this important service to the nation. So that is one humble request I have. And the second humble request is, at the end of the session, I'm going to share with you the form for a quiz come feedback form. So there we will ask you some questions from this presentation, and you can respond only if you listen to it carefully. Okay. So now we will. So yeah, a lot of people have searched modern history of Mysore. Very good. So keep searching and keep sharing the knowledge. The more you share, the more you gain. Okay. So now I will restart the presentation. So is the presentation visible now? If yes, just put visible. Okay. Thank you, everyone. Kindly do not turn on your video. Who has turned it on? Okay. Now we are going to look at what is the difference between Google and NDLI and how is it different. So let's see it with an example. Imagine there is a girl called Payal and there is another guy called Shamik. So Payal is studying in class 8 and she is in Hindi medium, whereas Shamik, he wants to pursue his PhD in the topic of magnetism, and Payal is also interested in knowing about magnetism. So what they did is both of them went to Google and they searched for the topic called magnetism and they got 1.89 crore results. And then they came to NDLI and they searched for the topic called magnetism and they got 11,16,674 results. Now what Payal did is she applied two filters. First filter is educational level 5th to 8th standard, and the second filter is language. She applied Hindi and she got 8 results only. So imagine where is 1.89 crore results and where is 8 results. And Shami clicked only career and technical papers and he got 219 results. So now let's look at what is the difference between Google and NDLI. See, Google is a brilliant giant, so we don't have any competition to Google. Google does its job brilliantly, but it has its own limitations. The first thing that Google does is the moment you put the topic, say magnetism, it will go around the World Wide Web, and wherever this term magnetism is there, it will fetch all the results, right? But in this process, Google can't distinguish whether it is coming from an authentic source or an unauthentic source, whether it's a real information or a fake information, whether it is relevant educational content or irrelevant educational content, whether it is useful for the searcher or unuseful. So these things Google can't distinguish, whereas at NDLI we our platform provides or we collaborate only with reputed educational research and publishing institutions only, and we all the resources are primarily meant for educational purposes only. Okay, so this makes us all the educational content available at NDLI are curated, whereas Google has both educational and non-educational content also. And the next difference is you can actually narrow down the results using filter options which are specifically designed for educational purposes. This is not available in Google. Google has filters, advanced filters they have, but that is meant for every generic search, not specifically designed for educational purpose. And the third is we can modify search based on the content type, which is not available at, which is also available, but you need to have use advanced filters. And the next filter is national licensing. The government of India has started procuring national licensing from various publishers. They have already procured national license from South Asia Archives and from World eBook Library, which is not available at Google. So this is some of the uniqueness and reach about NDLI. So we have collaborated with 23,800 institutions for accessing our resources. We have closer to 55 lakh users, and mobile downloads are 11 lakh. And on an average it is 30,000 before the lockdown. During the lockdown, it's crossing anywhere between 5 lakh to 7 lakh usage every day. So what is the big picture? So already you have we have this credit transfer and virtual certification scheme, okay, under which you can accumulate up to 20 credits from the MOOCs platform and then convert it into your and then add it in your coursework. So that is already possible. So what the government envisages, like maybe down the line 5 years or 10 years down the line, so with the help of digital platforms, which may act as a supplementary and complementary resources, and people will be able to access knowledge even by sitting at home. So that is possible in the near future. That may or may not happen, I'm not so confident, but there is a possibility. So now let's look at the most important aspect of this presentation, which is how to start and operate an NDLA club in your own institutions. So before we see the actual process, now I wanted to tell you what is the objective of NDLA club. So the objective of NDLA club is to promote the culture of reading among the students, especially the students, because I could see a lot of students use technology for their own purposes, for entertainment purposes mostly, not for reading, uh, and also take forward the NDLA resources to every uh, citizen of this country. So with this twin objective in mind, so what we encouraged in educational institution is to start NDLA club with at least one student from each class. I told you not to start your video, please. Miss Smati, don't start your video, please. So at least one student from each class and one faculty member from each department, with librarian or any faculty member as the ex officio secretary, and head of the institution or principal as the ex officio chairman of the club. Okay, so once this list is prepared, what you need to do is apply for NDLA club registration using this URL. So once you click on this URL, this registration form, this is a temporary arrangement that we have made. So just enter the basic details about your institution, attach the file NDLA club members list and tentative date for starting the NDLA club in your institution, and then submit. Once you submit, we do a back-end verification, and if it matches you, that teaches the application form matches our database, then we issue a certificate of registration to the participating the institution. That certificate of registration is valid for 1 year. So within that 1 year, you need to do two important activities. The first one is you have to register all the students and faculty members and activate their account within 30 days of the certificate of receipt. So that I will tell you how to do that. And the second step you need to do is conduct at least 10 reading or knowledge related activities. So what are the kind of activities that you can do? I will discuss it in a short while. So first part, so how to register all the students and faculty members. So there are two options to do it. For uh, institutions, I highly encourage that they follow this bulk registration route. So the bulk registration route is useful when NAC, UGC, AICT or NAB come for accreditation or verification. So that time you can actually show this certificate, and then they will make issue up to 2 or 3 additional points for your institution. So that is possible. Whereas individual registration is okay, but when they come for accreditation or verification, that time they may not, they will ask you to show the certificate of registration or institutional partnership, and then show them the number of people registered and number of people who have activated their account. If you don't show them, then they may not give you this 2 or 3 points. So I have many institutions who call me up and say that sir, we have not registered for NDLA, so we didn't get 2 points or 3 points from NAC. And people who had certificate but they registered the users, but they never activated the account, then also they didn't get the points. So registration is mandatory, but also verification of their email ID, that is also important. So now let's look at how to do bulk registration. So what you need to do is, like today I'm conducting an awareness session for you. So once you go back to your institution, you can discuss with your management and arrange the list and you form the club. After forming the club, you can conduct an awareness session for your club members, and the club members in turn go back and conduct an awareness session for their fellow students and faculty members. So then you collect three details from each student and faculty member. Those three details are: one, personal email ID, first name and last name. Three details that you need to remember. Now you need to collect and put it in an Excel sheet. Okay. And then that Excel sheet needs to be sent to this email ID called ndl-support@iitkgp.ac.in with a copy to my email ID, which is vignesh@ndl.gov.in and vigneshjnu@gmail.com. So you have to send it to this email ID. Once you send it to us, we do a automated registration and they will get a verification email with a temporary password. So they just have to click that URL, verification URL, and then put the temporary password. Then they will be asked to set a new password for themselves. So they have to just set the new password and then they log in with their email ID and the new password that they have set. They are all set to go and they can use it for lifelong at free of cost without having to pay a single penny. Suppose imagine like your family members, your children or your friends or relatives, they want to register as individuals. That they can do. How to do that? Let's see. So go to homepage. On the bottom right corner, we have this register icon. So just click on this register icon. Then this registration form will open. It will ask for 4 mandatory details: full name, email ID, password, and confirm password. Rest of the details are optional. And then enter the captcha. Click on this. I have understood the terms and conditions, and then click on sign up. Then they will get a verification email. So they have to just activate that verification email, and then they can log into our website and use the resources. So this is the registration part, and the second part I talked about the activities that they have to conduct. So these are the some of the indicative list of activities that Indian Institute can organize. It could be a lecture series, a quiz competition, a storytelling session, a go fish session, film screening, drawing, role play, writing, makerspace, debate. So these are just indicative. You can come up with your own reading or knowledge related activities for this club. Okay, and then you need to submit this activity report in this URL. So we will be able to renew your certificate after at least registering all the students and faculty members and activating their account and uh, conducting at least 10 reading related activities. So these are some of the activities being conducted by various NDLA clubs across the country. So far we have closer to 152 in NDLA clubs in this country. So we also have some incentive mechanism for NDLA clubs. So for best performing NDLA clubs at the district, state, and national level, the government of India has been noticing the activities being conducted, and they would issue a citation with some cash reward very soon. And also, we are also in the process of conducting various reading Olympiads at the district, state, and national level. We conducted our first reading Olympiad for Coimbatore district last year, and soon we will be conducting it across all the districts and states very soon. Okay, so we have come to the almost fag end of the presentation. So this is my contact details. So my email ID is vignesh@ndl.gov.in and my personal email ID is vigneshjnu@gmail.com, and I can be reached on my mobile phone, which is 9999654458. Okay, for bulk registration related queries, you can contact my colleague NDL Mr. Rajendra. His email ID is ndl-support@iitkgp.ac.in and his alternate email ID is rajendra.singh1310@gmail.com and his mobile number is 8197564857. So this is our contact details, and for any queries and questions, you can my best way of reaching to me is emails. I usually normally respond within 24 to 48 hours, and in case of any delay, and if you want to ask something very important information, you can send me a message on my mobile number or send me a message on WhatsApp, but you have to give me like which institution or what is your name, which institution are you uh, uh, calling, and what is the purpose. So because most of this time I may be in some workshop or seminar, so I may not be having picking up my phone. So kindly bear with me, and send me email or send me a WhatsApp message. That's the best way of reaching out to me. So now it's time for all of you to go through this quiz come feedback form. Okay, so I'm just going to put this form, so kindly don't type any message in the chat window for next 5 minutes. Kindly don't put any chat message for next 5 minutes. I'm just entering the URL for quiz come feedback form. Okay, so just click on this URL. You will be taken to this. I'll show you. So I've just entered the, just click on this URL. This will take you to the quiz come feedback form. So this will capture the following details. It will ask you your name of the institution, name of the participant, enter your name, enter your full name of the institution, enter the full name of you. Suppose if it's doctor, kindly put doctor. Suppose if you are normal thing, kindly keep the salutation properly. Don't make any spelling mistake. Yesterday somebody said my name is wrongly written as Balancer Singh. So if they entered Balancer Singh, then it will, I will be issuing certificate only in that name. Date of the webinar, which is today 8 5 or 8th May in 2020. Your designation, your email ID, phone number, and then next the question starts. Do you have a login account for NDLI? If you have already login account, just say yes or no, and name the various filter options available at NDLI. You have to mention the various filters. So I already talked about access restriction filter, learning resource type filter. Suppose if you don't remember, just go to the website and search what are the types of filter available at NDLI, and then what are the various learning resource types available in NDLI. Again, go to the website and find out what are the various learning resource type available. And I already told you how many languages are available. Just recollect, list out 5 access options available in NDLI. I already told you during the presentation how NDLI is different from Google. You have to enter. Now, how NDLI helps during to your learning during this COVID-19 lockdown situation. Write it in 100 words, and overall feedback about NDLI, and any specific suggestions for NDLI to consider. And next thing is feedback about the online webinar conducted by Dr. Vignesh. So you can give me all genuine feedback. We are happy to have the feedback come quiz. Okay, so you can start filling this form. This form will be open. See, if your internet is slow, it may not open. So I can show you how it is showing in my system. So I just clicked on this URL. This form is opening. So nobody can say this is not opening. It's opening. I just clicked the URL and it is opening perfectly. So I'm going to send this URL again. You can open in the system also. I've just sent the URL again. Yes, you can open in the system. So this URL will be open till